Did I ever tell you what the definition of insanity is? Insanity is doing the exact same fucking thing over and over again, expecting shit to change. That is crazy. But the first time somebody told me that, I don't know, I thought they were bullshitting me, so boom, I shot him. The thing is, okay, he was right. And then I started seeing it everywhere I looked. Everywhere I looked, all these fucking pricks. Everywhere I looked, doing the exact same fucking thing. Over and over and over and over and over again. Thinking, this time is gonna be different. No, please. This time is gonna be different. I'm sorry. I don't like the way you are looking at me. Okay? You have a fucking problem in your head. Do you think I'm bullshitting you? Do you think I'm lying? Fuck you! Okay? Fuck you! It's okay, man. I'm gonna chill here, man. I'm gonna chill. The thing is, alright? The thing is, I killed you once already. And it's not like I am fucking crazy. It's okay. It's like water under the bridge. Did I ever tell you the definition of insanity?
Oh, Jesus. No.
Oh, fuck you!
So recently I replayed Far Cry 3 and man, it's a reminder of what we lost in the games industry. I miss when AAA games used to constantly raise the bar with each game they released. A great example of this was Ubisoft, who released Far Cry 3 in late 2012. This game genuinely blew me away. The gameplay was satisfying, the graphics for the time were cutting edge, and the story gripped you from start to finish. There was no Ubisoft open world bloat in this game. Everything had a purpose. Every mechanic fed into the experience. It felt tight, focused, and confident in what it wanted to be. Vaas is still one of the greatest antagonists ever put into a video game. He didn't feel like a cartoon villain or some generic bad guy you forgot after the credits roll. He felt real, unpredictable, and genuinely scary. Every time he was on the screen, you didn't feel safe, and that tension carried the entire story. His performance was so raw and intense that he completely stole the spotlight, to the point where people still quote him over a decade later. You weren't just fighting an enemy, you were trapped in his world, playing by his rules, and that made every encounter with him unforgettable. And this is what we're missing from the AAA industry. Most of these companies lost their identity, and most importantly, lost touch with their audience. Ubisoft could never make a character like Vaas in the current era, where everything feels sanitized. They try to appeal to everyone, which ironically makes them appeal to no one. The sharp edges get sanded down, the risks disappear, and what you're left with is something polished, expensive, and completely forgettable. And when you look at the modern AAA landscape, the difference is night and day. Today's big releases don't feel like creative risks. They feel like corporate products designed by committee, bloated maps, live service mechanics nobody asked for, battle passes shoved into full-priced games. It's hard to shake the feeling that passion comes second to monetization. Systems exist not because they're fun, but because they're engineered to retain players. Everything feels optimized for engagement metrics instead of emotional impact. What makes it worse is that this shift didn't happen overnight. Games slowly stopped being finished products and started becoming platforms. Instead of shipping a complete experience and moving on to the next big idea, publishers realized they could stretch one game out for years with seasonal content, artificial grind, and microtransactions. And once that door opened, there was no closing it. Design priorities changed. Closure became optional. Endless retention became the goal. Compare that to Far Cry 3. That game wasn't trying to trap you in a loop. It wanted to tell a complete story. When the credits rolled, you felt like you finished a journey. There was satisfaction in the ending. Modern games rarely allow that feeling. A lot of them feel like they never want to end, not because the story demands it, but because the business model does. And ironically, trying to keep players forever, many of these games end up being forgotten faster. They blur together. Far Cry 3 is remembered because it knew when to stop and didn't overstay its welcome. Meanwhile, some of the most exciting games today aren't coming from billion-dollar publishers publishers at all. They're coming from smaller teams with something to prove. Games like Expedition 33, Silksong, and other indie or AA projects remind you what happens when developers are allowed to chase a vision instead of quarterly profit targets. These games feel handcrafted, focused. They aren't trying to be everything for everyone. They're trying to be something unforgettable for someone, and that difference is huge. There's an honesty in those projects that you can feel immediately. When an indie game succeeds, it feels earned. It feels like passion breaking through the noise. You don't feel managed as a customer. You feel invited into a world someone genuinely cared about building. That emotional connection is what built this industry in the first place. The early giants weren't giants because they played it safe. They were giants because they took risks. Somewhere along the way, AAA forgot that risk is what creates legacy. And the craziest part is the audience hasn't changed nearly as much as publishers think. Players still crave bold characters, tight gameplay loops, and stories that stick with them. The success of standout titles, whenever a AAA studio actually takes a risk, proves that appetite is still there. People show up for originality. They always have. The idea that everything needs to be sanitized and market tested into blandness is a myth. Some of the most beloved games ever made are messy, weird, and unapologetically specific. Vast is still proof of that. He wasn't safe. He wasn't designed by committee. He was volatile, uncomfortable, magnetic, and that's exactly why he worked. Replaying Far Cry 3 isn't just nostalgia, it's proof that the formula for great games hasn't changed. Respect the player, trust your developers, take creative risks. That's it. Technology has evolved, budgets have exploded, marketing has become louder, but the core truth is still simple. People remember games that make them feel something, not games that maximize engagement metrics, not games designed to extract value per users. The ones that stick are the ones that dare to have a soul. And maybe that's why replaying Far Cry 3 hits so hard. It's a reminder of what the industry is still capable of when creativity comes first. The passion never left gaming. It just shifted away from the biggest publishers and into the hands of teams who still treat games as art instead of product lines. AAA isn't dead. It's at a crossroads. The talent is still there. The audience is there. The hunger for meaningful experiences is louder than ever. The industry just has to decide whether it wants to chase short-term profit or long-term legacy. Because the studios we still talk about decades later aren't remembered for their monetization strategies. They're remembered for the worlds they built, the risks they took, and the characters they created that never left our heads. Far Cry 3 is still part of the conversation because it aimed higher than safe. If AAA wants that magic back, it doesn't need to reinvent gaming. It just needs to remember why we fell in love with it in the first place. Thank you so much for watching, guys. This was a different video and I hope you liked it, and I will be making more videos like this, and I'll see y'all in the next one.